details on Luke's 911 emergency.
As Michael started doing these sexual acts.
Wade is lying now.
Jackson's nephew, Taj, lived at Neverland, and he's known Michael's accuser, Wade Robson, for decades. What Taj wants you to know now.
I had a good time with that kiss.
Now. Try it free. Long distance charges may apply. 18+ First Media.
If I never had a son, I might still be in silence.
In your son, did you see yourself as a little boy?
That's what happened. I started having visions or images of what happened to me happening to my son, and I saw images of Michael doing it to my son.
Wow, Wade Robson on CBS this morning revealing why he's changed his story and is accusing the late Michael Jackson of sexually abusing him as a child.
Wade, along with his fellow accuser James Safechuck, detailed their story in the documentary Leaving Neverland, premiering Sunday on HBO. Michael has always denied any appropriate behavior with children and has never been found guilty of any charges.
And now, nearly 10 years after his death, Michael's brothers and nephew Taj are speaking out for him, saying money is the motivating factor with Wade and James.
Yeah, yesterday, I sat down with the brothers. Today, I sit down with Taj, who was once friends with Wade. You say you know what a victim looks like, what a victim feels like?
I know what a victim feels like. I think victims have their own way of coming out and in their own time. And I wanted to not be dismissive of that in that way, the narrative of it. But I also know people that have ulterior motives, especially money motives. I've been around it my whole life.
Taj says he can recognize the signs of sexual abuse because he's a victim at the hands of a relative on his mother's side. Taj says he and Michael were close. That's him as a kid next to Michael on a ride called Thriller. In fact, when Taj was 22, he lived at Neverland with Michael while he was tried and eventually acquitted of child molestation charges in 2005.
2005 for me was one of the hardest years. I knew my uncle needed me to be there. I knew that he wouldn't survive it without. After the trial, he'd be distraught and he'd be worn out and almost like broken. And it was my job to basically try and make him laugh again. We'd watch Three Stooges or Little Rascals, or just try and talk to him about the future. He didn't understand why this was happening to him.
You lived there. Did you ever hear of anything odd that was going on, anything inappropriate that was going on? Did anyone ever come to you and say, I've been made uncomfortable with this situation with your uncle? Was there ever a circumstance where that you can remember?
No, and there was never a circumstance where, I mean, my uncle had hundreds of people working for him. And I think that's the thing, is that for all the hundreds of people, you know, Wade's not only calling us liars, he's calling everyone that worked with Michael. He's calling all of us liars, because he's saying that this isn't something that just happened behind closed doors, that we covered it up in some way.
I want to be able to speak the truth as loud as I had to speak the lie for so long.
Taj has not yet seen Leaving Neverland and says he was never contacted to answer its claims. But after its premiere at the Sundance Film Festival last month, he took to social media calling the film a, quote, one-sided hit job and accusing Robson and Safechuck of, quote, flat-out lying. While he didn't know Safechuck, Taj says he knew Wade well and even spent time with him after Wade testified on Michael's behalf in 2005. 8 years later, Wade reversed course.
So the day of the testimony, we all had dinner together. My uncle, his kids, Wade's fiance at the time, Amanda. Everyone was laughing, everyone was happy. It feels like being backstabbed in a way.
I mean, it's been 10 years.
Yeah.
Since Michael's passing.
Yeah.
Your uncles were pretty clear in that they felt this was financially motivated.
100%. Wade tried to shop a book deal right before this. You know, right before he sued the estate. He tried to shop a book deal.
No book was ever published. Both Robson and Safechuck filed lawsuits alleging molestation in 2013 and 2014. A probate judge dismissed both suits but did not rule on the validity of their claims.
It's out of a storybook, right? Out of a fairy tale.
Hello, Wade.
Taj also disputes evidence presented in the film, in particular love letters both Safechuck and Robson claim Michael sent to them. Taj has notes from Michael too, proof, he says, that Michael sent words of affection to the people he cared about.
Okay. Here's one. Dear Taj, Terrell, TJ, a little gift from Europe. Love, Michael. To Taj, love Uncle Doo-Doo. He loved being silly.
Uncle Doo-Doo.
He didn't take himself serious, you know. He was Michael Jackson to the world, but to us, he was our uncle.
lot to unpack.
Yeah, the film comes out this weekend, and I think people will be able to make up their own mind. But I really still feel so much for Michael's kids, who will also have to bear this brunt moving forward.
All right. Well, coming up, Scott, she's showing so much courage and even